Hello, Instagram and the world. I am Jonathon Melendrez from Melendrez Dance Studios. For the people who don't know, I'm a three-time winner of Best of the Knot. I'm a wedding choreographer. And there's one more thing, but I can't think of it right now. Today we got an interesting show. Today we have Jeff Greene from 84 West Events. And in case you don't know, 84westevents.com does production events. They do everything from weddings to quinces. And if you get a chance to take a look at their website, this website is really incredible. It's got high quality photos on it, very well marketable, and it's got some great things on it. I do this streamline twice a week, Monday and Friday at 12 o'clock. And the purpose of this show is to bring out the talents and expertise of the people in the wedding industry. The people in the wedding industry are fantastic people, and what I've noticed so far in the times past now, that everyone has been conforming to the new life of COVID. We're going to see a pretty good example of that today. So I'm bringing on my sidekick, Angela Naran from Angela Naran Shoes. Hi, Naran.
Hey, John, how are you?
Happy Friday.
Yeah, it is. I see you're dressed up. You've got on a button down today, huh?
Well, I'm trying to make things look a little better than, trying to upgrade things a little bit. Than just being in my t-shirt all the time. This is probably the only time I get a chance to dress up a little, wear a button-down shirt. Usually I'm just in tank tops and ripped t-shirts and a pair of shorts. So
Yeah,
this is my only time I get to dress up.
at least you have pants on. I know there's a lot of jokes about people dress to the waist and then they don't bother to put their pants on, or they've got their pajamas on or something underneath. So, no, you look great.
Thank you. You can't tell that I have no pants on, can you? I look
John,
normal.
Too much information, darling.
I look totally normal. You couldn't tell. You can't even tell if I'm sitting on a box of potatoes or anything.
Oh, you look great. Your hair looks good too. I finally I went to the barber shop right up the street from me. I walked over to the barber shop. My hair had gotten down to here, and I just said, just lop it off. So anyway,
your hair looks.
And I cut my bangs myself.
Well, your hair looks great. It looks nice. I can tell you did something different to it.
Thank you.
But speaking of something different, there's this website, 84 West Events. I was just telling this at the beginning. I know Jeff Greene is about to come on and tell us about the miracles that he can produce. But if you ever get a chance to see his website, I know his Instagram page is fantastic, but 84 West Events, .com, it's a great website. And just by looking at it and not even reading anything, I want to say, wow, I want to hang here for 5 minutes and just watch the pictures and the graphics that go on the website.
Yeah, Jeff and his company are pretty amazing. They are, their event production, everything, anything you can imagine, they can take care of. They handle everything. I've known him for years and years and years. We actually met during when I was still doing what you do with the wedding dance choreography. We met during the bridal show circuits. Do you do the bridal show circuits, John? Obviously not right now, but have you been doing those bridal show circuits to promote your dance business?
Just as I was going to get into doing those, the shows and the trade shows and everything, that's when COVID started coming around. But I was never into that until just recently that I decided wanting to get into it.
Yeah, well, that's how I met Jeff, because they were the highlight of every bridal show. After all of the other vendors had done their presentations, then they would get on stage as party time DJs. And these guys are out there shaking and they're throwing out all of their little freebies and stuff. And the girls in the audience were going crazy with all these guys dancing and carrying on. And And so I have been so excited about this show. So I'm sure Jeff's got plenty to tell us. I'm so glad that he agreed to do this with us today.
Well, let's bring him on. Let's see what we can do with him.
Okay, I'll be around.
Okay, I'll see you in just a few minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any delay, we have Jeff Greene of 84westevents.com, the person we've been waiting for the past few minutes, the man of the minute.
And I'm connected. Am I connected?
And there he is. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, man?
I don't know. Am I connected? I can't hear you.
You're connected. Can you hear me?
Let's
Let's
try this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can now. Yeah.
Okay, good. How's it going, man?
So thank you for both the kind words. Thank you, Naran. As she said, we met a few short years ago, probably 30 years ago, I would say. It seems like 25, 30 years ago, easily, doing wedding shows and on the wedding show circuit.
Yeah.
Wedding shows were a big thing at one time for brides. You know, they would go to it's a trade show like any industry trade show where you go and you see the wares, so to speak, that are available to for your needs.
Yes.
And you know, the wedding shows have sort of died down. The current generation of brides feels that they can just click and do everything by clicking, and there's some truth to that.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's still nothing better than, you know, going out and meeting face to face with people and seeing, you know, the real professionals who show up, you know, sacrifice their Saturdays or Sundays to show up at a wedding show to meet the brides themselves, as opposed to, you know, anybody and everybody who just takes out a website or you know, gets an Instagram page and says, oh, I'm in business. You know, the real truth is, you know, the people who show up on the weekends to put themselves out, to present themselves to you, those are the real people that are in business. You know, you know, wedding shows were a big part of our business because we were able to meet with the brides right there. We got to give them samples of what we did, in the sense, you know, like Naran said, we would showcase on stage. Our entertainers have always been lively. They're not, you know, the human iPod, so to speak.
Right.
You know, our DJs were always the guys who can engage a crowd. You know, it's funny right now with COVID, you can't entertain the same way. You can't just have a DJ playing music and people out. Dancing is not a socially, so you come to a company like ours, you know, we never needed the music to entertain a crowd. If there was no power, and I can tell you, we had weddings over the years that lost power for whatever reason. I remember one hotel, the Embassy Suites on 17th Street, Causeway. I remember doing a wedding there, and the whole power grid for that area of Fort Lauderdale went out probably half hour into our wedding. And it was one of the liveliest, most fun weddings I ever entertained. And the reason is because myself, the people working for me, were entertainers, not human iPods.
Right.
Today, there's a whole breed of DJs that all they know how to do is press buttons and look at a computer screen and drag and drop and things like that. They never were entertainers. They never learned how to engage people. You know, the people that work for us learned from me and whatnot, learned how to engage people, learned how to be good masters of ceremony. Together with our photographers and our videographers, we kind of came in as a team and not only created great memories, but captured those memories and preserved them. When you have a photographer who's on the same page as the videographer, who's all on the same page as the entertainer, and they're all working in unison together, you've got some amazing, you know, images. You've got some amazing, you know, reflection to look back on of your memories.
Right.
And that's, you know, that was an important thing. And we did that as a team and always have and still do.
That's great. I love that. So what you do a lot of things here. I mean, I could see your website, and there's nothing that you really can't do, it looks like. What are your specialties? Do you have specialties? Do you excel in one area, or do you excel in like a few areas? What's your specialty? What do you specialize in?
I would say that we excel in multiple areas because we brought in team members that excelled in what they did. So my people, the professionals who work for us at some point or another had their own businesses, but we're just not as good at marketing, not as good at selling. You know, there's a lot of people that are very talented, but don't really have the people skills to be in front of a bride or groom, and sit down and listen to them, and the time it takes to plan and organize. There are people who are very talented behind the camera, but that's where they're talented, behind the camera. They're not talented at sitting in front of talking to them.
Yeah.
I have a few photographers who, if they had to sell themselves, they would never have a job, but they're excellent photographers. Just their creativity is just their mindset. It's different, same thing with entertainers and DJs, and same thing with my video is probably the most the place where it's most prevalent. The best videographers are wallflowers, who never talk to you. They're behind the camera. They're quiet. They don't want to interact. They don't want to interact with you. They don't want to have a conversation with you. A photographer, at least, is going to have to converse with guests, and try to get them to do certain things so that they can get the best photographs. A videographer, it's motion, it's video, it's recording.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to communicate. They're capturing. So they're wallflowers. They're behind the scenes. Or they prefer to just watch and record what's happening and never have a conversation with anybody. And that translates to the sales side of things. So as a company, we've always looked at talent. We've always sought great talent, people who would be good at what they did, but maybe fell short on the other side of things. And that was where we came in as a company. So we brought team members in who excelled at those specific things. And so entertainment, photography, lighting, decor, photo booths, these are all things that we do for events. And many times we do them all together. Meaning that a client comes to us and says, look, I need all these services. I just got off the phone with a bride a few minutes ago that was referred to us by the venue where she's having her wedding. And, and I guess depending on the conversation, that they have, she just was calling us up for photography. But when we got on the phone, it was like, well, but did they also tell you about our DJ services and the video and the decor? And she's like, oh, I didn't know you did all those things. Yes, I need all those things. It would be so much easier not to have to call everybody. And that's, we've destination weddings. South Florida has always been a popular location for destination weddings.
Sure.
A lot of hotels on Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach are ideal for those smaller weddings where people travel. They want a beachside wedding, especially in the wintertime. And we've done a great amount of business down on the beach and on those beachfront properties for destination weddings. Well, destination clients, they really know what they're doing. They pick up the phone, they call the venue, they find the venue, and then they say, okay, great. What's the easiest way for me to find vendors? And the venue refers them to us, and we take care of everything. And they have the venue and they have us, and that's all that they need to deal with. They don't have to sit there and go to 20 different people. In fact, many times, some of them have wedding planners, and those wedding planners might call, but a lot of those brides are doing it themselves as well, and they don't have a wedding planner. So a company like ours, whether they have a wedding planner or not, makes that process so much easier.
Yeah.
We're not planners, so we're not around and calling a bunch of contractors. It's us. We're the ones doing the work. We have people providing the services and doing the work. So, we own the equipment. We own that it takes to produce it. We have the editing suites to do the editing for the videos. We handle all the work. Our photographers take the pictures, but then we handle everything behind the scenes, all the way through the album delivery and everything. So, it really is us doing it, not just a planner who's going to pick up the phone and just contract out to different people. So when people work directly with us, they're really saving a lot of money. They're saving a lot of money. They're also saving a lot of time and headaches. And destination brides have been doing that for 15, 20 years that we've been doing with those people. And local brides are starting to get it, especially now in COVID. In light of COVID right now, and we're about the wedding industry here, but it's also true in the other markets that we deal with corporate events and with, the bar and bat mitzvah market and whatnot. But clients have discovered that being able to, a term I hate to use, but I'm going to use it because it kind of frames it a bit well, one-stop shop. You know, it's a lot easier when you're stressed out and you're trying to figure all these things out to be able to go to as few people as you can to get as many things done as possible. And when it's a reputable company like ours that has been around for 41 years, our 41st anniversary will actually be the end of this month, July 31st, will be 41 years old. So a company like ours that has been through everything in South Florida, you know, you look online at the reviews that we've got on the Knot and Wedding Wire, we have over 500 five-star reviews. You know, sure, there are some reviews that are, you know, that aren't as great and whatnot, because a lot of times it's subjective, you know. I mean, you know, sometimes you get a review from somebody who's a guest. You know, anybody can post a review, and sometimes you get a guest who didn't like the song you played as a DJ, so they bashed the DJ because he played Macarena when the bride asked for Macarena. The bride said you were great, you know, but the guest went on there and said, "Can you believe this DJ Macarena? Nobody dances to Macarena anymore." Well, that may not be true. You know, the bride may have requested it, and our goal is to make the bride happy and make her husband happy, make the bride happy, which will make him happy. You know, yeah. Happy bride, happy wife. You know, happy wife, happy life, right? You know, so you know, you want to make the bride happy, and if that means, you know, doing the chicken dance when nobody else is doing the chicken dance, you do the chicken dance. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's as silly as it seems, you know. All those things that all those little tricks that engage people, you know, that is the sign of an entertainer, somebody who has in their bag of tricks anything it's going to take to engage an event and to keep the momentum going.
Right.
And we do that, and you know, combined with, you know, what you do, I mean, with you know, helping people learn their first dance. You probably, I'm going to ask this question of you: are you finding that a lot more couples know how to dance at least now?
No.
No, really.
The couple.
They don't, at least they have some rhythm, maybe, you know. Well, I mean, I know that 25 years ago, a lot of grooms didn't dance. Now you go to clubs and young people are dancing more. You know, more guys dance, yes. More women dance. They may not be choreographed. They're not professional dancers, right. But they're not shy to get out there and get in front of people, which was the case, you know, many years ago. I know when Naran and I were, you know, were doing showcases and stuff, I'm sure she had a lot of grooms that had two left feet. And I would say today you probably have grooms that have a little bit more rhythm.
Well, some of the grooms that I deal with have little to no dance experience. However, the grooms that I do work with usually have some type of sports background. You know, they play basketball, they play football, they played soccer. So usually as a choreographer, I can work with footwork. I can work with a boxer who would come in and just knows footwork. That's all he knows. And I'm cool with that. I can work with that. For most grooms that come in that don't know anything, that have a hard time just standing up, I take the wife and I have her dance more than I do with the groom. So overall, it still comes out good. The bride can have her fantasy, and the guy can still look cool, standing there looking macho without really putting himself at an ego risk. But these days, yeah. I've been doing a lot of virtual lessons, virtual lessons and coaching. So, but I hear you do a lot of virtual events. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, you know, a few things that we pivoted to, you know, when COVID hit, the entire event industry was affected. You know, being that where our company's at, you asked earlier about, you know, what do we specialize in? And obviously we've been talking in our background. We also have, I mentioned how we do videos for weddings, but we do videos for any event, you know, weddings, right. Bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, you know, any event. You know, video is video. So we pivoted. We created a virtual graduation program. That was the first thing we did, and we spent most of June. We're in July now. We spent most of June working. We started selling it beginning of May, and spent most of June producing virtual graduations for schools all over the country, and did very well with that. It was an excellent product for us, and you know, we were able to get school districts around the country, you know, who literally were still very locked down, and get a lot of schools to go with this product that we created for them, and a very good organization, you know, for them to put together the assets and everything. I mean, I came up with a really great program together with a couple of colleagues of mine around the country, and between us, we sold them all over the country. Did very well with that product. In addition to that, we have a virtual game show. We're doing one, in fact, next next Wednesday for the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. We're doing a virtual game show, which is something where it's also an online platform. People register, they go in, they register. In this particular case, we've set up 3 separate teams, and people who are members of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, they're using it as a networking event, but they all register. They go online, they register what team that they're a part of, which are committees within the teams are based on committees that the Miami Beach Chamber has, and then we do this whole 1-hour game show thing that we make this game show available for corporate clients. We originally created this as a breakout type of a thing for corporate clients. For example, you have let's say a Merrill Lynch, and they've got offices around the country, and so we could have the Los Angeles office compete against the Dallas office, against the Chicago office, the Miami office, and the New York office, and they could all compete against each other online, and they just all log into the portal that we create for them. As a game show host, we're on there. Unlike Zoom or any of these types of things, it's not really based on that. It's not based at all on Zoom, but it's not based on a two-way video communication. It's really one way, the video, so that everybody sees the game show host. So they see me, they see one of my other game show hosts. I have one of my MCs who is bilingual. I'm bilingual, but this guy's Cuban American, so he's a lot more Spanish than I am, and so he'll do the Latin ones, I'll do the English ones, and what we do is, we're very dynamic, a lot of fun, kind of a little silly too with it. Everybody sees our picture. Everybody who's logged into the system and playing, they see our images. They see questions pop up on screen, little videos that we create. This is an entire platform that was created from scratch. It's not a commercially available platform. Nobody can go out and say, oh, I'm going to go find the software and download it. Together with a couple of partners, we literally created this software for ourselves, and my partners around the country, to be able to offer this. Each one of us be able to offer to our clientele and to our local markets. So it's not something anybody can find commercially to do. So it's totally proprietary, and it's a lot of fun. And we can have hundreds of people on there, or we can have just a few. It really makes no difference. The technology behind it's so cool that we can even weigh out the scale of it. So, for example, that Merrill Lynch office example I was using, let's say there's 10 people in the Merrill Lynch office in Los Angeles, but there's 30 people in the New York office, right?
Right.
So what it does is when they register, it automatically adjusts the points. It scales the points. So, you might get 1 point per person for correct answer for the New York office, but the LA office may get 3 points per correct answer in order to equal the number of things. So it was a really complex process. That product was actually being created before COVID-19. It's just that COVID-19 helped us get it to full speed.
Right.
So, we worked very hard right when this thing broke out, realized that was the entire thing, so that when people wanted to do breakouts for the companies, because we had a client who wanted to do that, and that was created originally for one process, but then we realized the value of it, and it really matured. In addition to that, going back to weddings, we are doing what we call micro weddings, which is it's not a term we coined. It's a phrase that's become popular within the last year, the micro. I just think that we've really fine-tuned the micro weddings, and right now we're still getting the clients who are feeling it out. They're not really sure that they want it, but I say when these brides get into bride mode and they've been proposed to and they feel that they got to have their wedding, that maybe the micro wedding is right now, at least for the foreseeable future, is a smart thing to do. A wedding that's between 10 and 30 people. And it has some of those elements, and it's maybe about a 90-minute, reception. In other words, you have the whole program is 90 to 2 hours long, and it involves your ceremonies right there. You have your clergy, because social distancing doesn't really lend to dancing right now. We're not doing a DJ and dancing. We have sound equipment there. We're gonna have AV equipment there, so that guests out of town, we will do a streaming feature, a streaming effect to this. We've got options for indoors and outdoors, and they're turnkey packages inclusive of light bites and beverages for the guests. So it's a really great turnkey type of a system. So a bride or groom can plan a wedding, and we can take care of so much putting this all together for them, so they can get married now, and then fast forward to after COVID, they can have that full party and full reception, where they can really go out and have a good time. And quite frankly, since they've kind of gotten the business of getting married out of the way, they could have just a great after party type of a celebration, which would be a much more modern, much more fun. They could do a great first dance and really let their hair down. They don't have to go through the whole hair and makeup and tuxedos and all that nonsense if they don't want to. They can really just make it a fun reception that's all about having a good time together. And I think that, I heard a great comment the other day where, in the Spanish flu was in 1918. And if you think what came right after that, a couple years later was the Roaring Twenties. And we've all heard about the Roaring Twenties and what that was like, all the parties and festivities and all. So, you know what? Let's get ready for the Roaring Twenties. We're here now, and when this whole thing gets over, we may have another Roaring Twenties. We may have a decade of decadence and fun and excitement and people just really wanting to get out. So long as we could do it safely. I think that once there's a shot, once there is some inoculation against the virus, I think people are going to really let their hair down. I think we're going to see a surge of celebration. So for the couples who want to get married now, do a micro wedding. Get the basics done, get that commitment done. If you're one of those people that wants to get married now before the tax, at the end of the year to take advantage of tax savings and things like that, great. Now's a perfect time to do a micro wedding. We can put one together for you in a week or two, and it'd be fantastic if you want to get married that quickly. But you can take advantage of that. But then in a year from now, when things are coming back, when there's an injection out there for us, great. Let's have a great celebration. Let's celebrate life and celebrate your family and friends all together, and have a really great reception.
Off of that remark, how do you see the future of entertainment, not just in the wedding area, but overall, those two topics? So where do you see entertainment going in the wedding industry, and where do you see the entertainment going out of the industry? I mean, outside of the wedding industry.
I hate to say this, but I don't believe that anybody knows what the heck entertainment is anymore. I think people just think music. I need music for my wedding. They don't think of being entertained anymore. When I first started this business in 1979, my competition were bands and orchestras. And we had to be able to provide a performance that was as lively, as three-dimensional. Put that around, wrap your head around that for a second. Three-dimensional, okay? Meaning that it wasn't just two speakers and music blasted at you. It was a band on stage that was three-dimensional. You had a saxophone to the left, a guitar player with his amp to the right. You had a drummer in the middle. You had rhythm guitars. When wireless technology on instruments became more popular, it's been around since the 70s, but when it really became more affordable, more popular, then you started having bands who guys, they get out there and they literally, their saxophones, their guitar players, even their keyboardists are wireless, so they're on the dance floor. The stage empties for the most part, except for the drummer, and they're all out there with their instruments playing and things like that. That's entertainment. That's entertaining. That's engagement. And I think that we're going to go back to that. I think that we're going to go back to, instead of just having music played at you, we're going to get engaged with you. And I see with the corporate market before COVID, us engage people. The galas and the big events that I was doing, do galas for 12, 14, 1,500 people. And I would set up a stage when I would work with, with the producers and everything. I would always set up a stage where I could bring people up on my tier stage. So our entertainment, the electronics, if you will, were on an upper level. We had a lower level that was a short step up from the dance floor. And I would bring guests up onto the stage. And what would happen is I was making everybody in the room a part of the entertainment. And people would leave those events saying how much fun they haven't had this much fun in years and years. And that's because they they sort of lost the art of being entertained. They were, it's become so DJ centric where a guy just stands there and hits a button. And by the way, there's a lot of talented DJs with mixing. It's not to just music. You have a great dynamic MC, somebody who can control, who can get on the microphone and engage people on the microphone. The DJ does his thing.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a 10-piece band. You can still have a DJ with a percussionist. We do something called DJ Live. And 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, and it really took a while for it to take off. But our DJ Live has been really half a decade, and that is a DJ with a saxophone and a percussionist. So you have that live sound, and you still have an MC out in front who's engaging people, who gets out on the crowd. And with our saxophonist, they get out in the crowd wirelessly, or electric violin is the other thing that we use, or a saxophone or electric violin. And sometimes a client who wants to do all three. The electric violin is great because LED, it lights up and everything. And he gets out there on the floor, and he's dancing around with people, playing that electric violin and going to the mood and things. So it becomes a very lively performance. It is not only on the stage, but now it comes out into the entertainment is going to become popular again. People are going to want to be engaged by entertainment. They're going to want to be a part of the show, and they're going to want to be a part of the celebration. Because what happens is a lot of people, dancing, and you know this, dancing is not a spectator sport. Dancing is an engaging sport. It's something where we all do it together. We have fun doing it together. But when, the same thing you hear every week played over and over, the same thing, and you hear Pitbull 5 times in the course of a night, you're sitting there saying, oh, same.
Yeah.
Then you get someone like 84 West Events, they come in and, you got a DJ, you got a percussionist, you got a electric violin, and you got this dynamic MC who is all over the place, and he's got a voice, he's got a great talent. He looks people in the eyes, he's got a great smile. He goes over to the tables and he brings people up onto the dance floor. And what happens is people of a good time. And when the floor packs up and 80 to 90% of your guests are on the floor, it's because they've been entertained. They're not just having music played. The next time you go to an event and you see that the floor has 10-15% of the people on there, and it's the same song you've been hearing at every wedding for the last 2-3 months that you've gone to, your answer is very simple. It's a human iPod up there. It's not an entertainer. So, being entertained, I think, is going to be important. And I think that dance lessons are going to become a part of it. I know we did a couple corporate events last year in which we brought in choreographers, if you will, to teach salsa. Specifically in these 2 events that we did, I'm thinking of, we literally brought in this little dance and you had these people, most of them were from out of town, and they're like, oh, this is Miami. Hey, salsa, of course, this is Miami. But you know what? Miamians are just the same. And I'm not talking about Cuban community. I'm talking about, anybody. You get up there and you offer to teach them a dance, people are going to say, oh, I'll try it. Why not? Let's go, and you give these quick little simple lessons. And, salsa can be, the basic steps are not that difficult to teach. So fine, you take 15 minutes and have your dance instructors, your choreographers come up and teach people a few of the basic steps. They're on the microphone. It's not there's music still playing. They're on the microphone, engaging people, but more people come up, and then when a choreographer who typically comes in with 4 or 5 other people, then they'll break out and bring new people up, and next thing you know, you've got everybody learning a dance step that they've never done before, even the basics of salsa, or merengue, that they can easily get up there and do, and they're like, they leave the party like, hey, I learned how to do salsa, and I think that that's going to come back as part of an important element in bringing entertainers. I also think that things like sleight of hand magic, you know, where close-up magic, if you will, where you have a magician maybe during dinner hour walking around to the tables and just doing card tricks or things like that. I think that entertainment beyond just music
Yeah.
is going to become more popular for the next few years. I think right now, people who want to have an event, want to be engaged, and
Right.
don't want to have dancing, I think things like that are going to be important. Things like the close-up magic might be important.
Yeah, Jeff, you've got a lot of energy, and I tell you, if you put any of that energy into your business, I can totally see how everyone would have a total blast hiring you to do their event. You're amazing. I want to, you know, before I wind this up, I got to tell you, I love your multicolored light dance floor. I think that is so brilliant. I would love to dance on something like that, or do a show, or even do a competition on that type of floor. That is fantastic. But I want to be sure that everyone that's watching,
that floor is famous, by the way. That floor is very famous, by the way. There's not many of them in the country, and we've been very fortunate through, you know, South Florida being a celebrity market, if you will, where there's a lot of celebrities that this is their playground. We have done some incredible events for some very well-known people, and we've done some touring with people. New Kids on the Block use that dance floor. You know, last year we have the last 2 years we've done the disco cruise. We've worked it with Casey and the Sunshine. We've had Cool and the Gang. We did a show last April, not this past April, obviously, the April before, up at the Breakers with the B-52s. You remember the B-52s, Rock Lobster?
Yeah.
They used our LED dance floor for, as part of their show and everything like that. We've had a lot of different groups. I would say well-known bands and artists. We've had probably about 70 who have used our LED dance floor as part of their shows at some point or another. Shows locally or regionally, and a few internationally as well. But we've also had a few cruises that these affinity cruises, like the disco cruise that we did last year. The first one was in 2019. 2020, just a few weeks before COVID hit, was the second annual disco cruise, the ultimate disco cruise. Look it up online. You'll see, you know, look at the highlight videos, and that whole dance floor, we converted the entire dining room of the Celebrity Infinity into a Studio 54. Very accurately done Studio 54 for people who've actually went to Studio 54. You'd remember some of those elements. This had a lot of those elements in it, plus our dance floor, which was defining. And people, if you watch that video online, you'll see people actually made comments about how they remember going to Studio 54. Some of the people who were on the cruise going to Studio 54, and this dance floor was so perfect because it really brought that authenticity to it. You know, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, you know, we've had, you know, the Village People, Franz Jolie, Gloria Gaynor. I mean, I could go on with, you know, people who performed with that floor. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about here, and your presence on the internet is profound. Is there anything that I didn't cover? Is there anything that you want people to know while they're watching the show that I didn't bring up, or maybe you didn't bring up?
I would say what I would want people to know is that first and foremost, if you, as you're planning events, listen, I'm a very reasonable person when it comes to, you know, health and safety and things like that. You know, I believe that we should all be wearing the masks when we go out and go to the stores. You know, I'm not going to be one of those idiots that's going to sit there and say, "Oh, it's my freedom, my right." Listen, I believe in freedom and right, but I also believe that, you know, you have the freedom to be healthy, and I shouldn't be passing it on. So when you have and you're planning an event, I would say right now, for the time being, the first thing we should all consider is everybody else. You know, let's plan our events, but let's really be concerned with who else, what, you know, the trickle down effect, if you will. You know, I want to get back to work. I want to do events right away, as just like anybody else. This is my livelihood. 41 years I've been doing this, but I want everybody to do it safely. And I think that if you're going to plan a wedding, a bar mitzvah, quinceañera, sweet 16, whatever it is, don't do it because you feel that you have to do it and have to invite all these people. The smart thing, the smart business is, you know, if you want to do something because you just want to get married now, you want to bring those intimate family members in, 10 to up to 30 people out somewhere outdoors. I mean, you know, we can produce something like that very quickly, as I said, and you know, do something like that if you just get married now. On the other hand, and if you do it that way, then plan for a big celebration later. So you can, you know, you can plan for the formality now, and then plan for a bigger, fun celebration where you bring your family and friends in when it's safe to do so. But if not, don't rush yourself to do it right now.
Yeah.
Do it later
Yeah.
if that makes the most sense. If you have to have all these people there, I got a call last week from a lady who. Actually, earlier this week, from a lady who was going to have her quinceañera in Miami, or a Miami family, and then she's moving it to Broward because Miami announced that they were going to be closing all the venues and things like that, all party celebration halls and things like that. They specifically this time said party venues and celebration venues and whatnot. And I guess because there's so many banquet halls in Miami, they had to say it that way. Broward, there's not so many banquet halls per se, and most people follow the code of the restaurants. So she said literally, well, and by the way, her daughter's quinceañera is supposed to be the end of this month. So she said to me, well, because my daughter wants to have this big party and they can't do Dade County, we're going to move it to Broward County. And we want to find out if you could do this event. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, she's going to have this big event, you know, and as vendors, what's our responsibility? Do we want to be going to this event where somebody is being irresponsible? They're literally trying to move to a location where she can get away with having a bigger event. Of course, Broward changing the rules and things like that as well this week. Not quite as strong as Dade, but you can't have any restaurant type of place open after 10 o'clock. You can't have more than 6 people seated and things like that here. Broward right now started today, in fact. So that'll kill her plans, but maybe she'll go to Palm Beach. Maybe
Right.
she'll go to Palm Beach County because she wants to have an event where maybe the rules haven't changed yet. But I think that's the foolish idea, to be chasing where you can have an event just because you want to have a big event, not considering that the other people, including the vendors, you know, how is my wife going to feel if I'm going to go out and do an event to somebody who's willing to take a risk and willing to bring people in? And how are my staff? I have to be responsible for my staff as well,
Right.
because I don't want them to get sick, and I don't want the possibility of a transmission from them to their family members and things. So we all have to be responsible and think globally how it affects everyone.
Yeah.
And really, if the smart thing is to postpone it, you know, I mean, this lady, the best thing she could tell her daughter, instead of like, hey, you know, I know your birthday is the end of this month, but there's a pandemic going out there. She could educate her at what it's like to have responsibility. That would be the better answer for her daughter right now, and say, you know what, 6 months, we'll put together a great session for you. But right now, honey, it's just not the time to do it.
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, she was looking for an event for like 150 people. She was not looking for an event for 20 or 30 people. So that's where I get a little concerned, you know. If she'd said 20 or 30 people, that would be a whole different story.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Wow. You probably got a lot of stories too. I mean, a lot of freaky things have happened, or some whatever.
Hey, one day we can have another one. We could talk about wedding catastrophes. You know, the grandmother who had a heart attack on the dance floor, the bride who caught the bouquet and fell in the fountain. You know, little things like that. There's a lot of stories out there about weddings.
I like that, wedding catastrophe.
Imagine it.
Wedding catastrophes.
Yeah, wedding catastrophes.
I like it. We should do a show just
Most of them.
alone.
Most of them are hysterically funny. They weren't funny at the moment, but when you look back on it, you can sit there and.
Thanks for coming on the show, Jeff. Yeah, I like that. Well, I like that. I'll consider doing that one day. I think that's a great show topic right there. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. You have a great website. Jeff Greene of 84westevents.com. The website is just the website alone is entertaining. I could just sit here and watch the website and have a good time. So thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time carving it out just to hang out for a little while here. So good luck to you. You know, be safe during the COVID. I hope all your gigs go well, and you know, lots of good things to you.
Thank you, and you as well. And I look forward to seeing you out on the dance floor.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon. Have a great afternoon. Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
You do too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Wow. Whew, man, I am exhausted out of that interview. Man, I am worn out.
Is he not phenomenal? That is what he does. That's the kind of energy and life and fun and engagement that he brings to any event that his company does. And I just adore him. It was great getting to see him again. I haven't seen him in quite a while because I've been out of the bridal show circuit since I've been doing my shoe business. So that was really a wonderful jaunt down memory lane. Like you said, there's so many stories that he could tell you. There's so many stories that I could tell you about stuff that's happened just with working with him over the years. But I think the wedding catastrophe interview is that sounds like a scream. You got to consider that one. Like, I mean, John, but just think about it. Just think about the dancing brides that do the dip at the end and their boobs fall out of their dress. I've seen that happen myself. It's almost happened to me a time or two. So I totally get that.
Wow. Well, he's a great guy. He seems like a really cool guy doing a great business, and he's got a lot of energy. So I said, you know, he's got so much energy. That energy, I'm sure, you know, transfers over to the business and then transfers over to his clients, whoever he works with. So I could easily see how successful he would be, and all his clients would be totally happy with what he does. Fantastic.
And he's just a really nice guy, John. He gives a lot to his customers, and he really cares about providing and making people have the things that they want. But on top of everything else, to hear somebody that's in the entertainment industry, and I mean, we're all, you know, all of us professionals in this industry, in the entertainment, bridal, wedding industry, really struggling right now with everything being shut down.
Yeah.
And yet you see this man who clearly said that he agrees that not putting people at risk is the right thing to do. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect, you know, for him being open and honest about that. I hope people listen, you know.
Well, Narana, I think it's been another successful episode of Wedding Dance Tips.
I hope so too, John. This was a ball. It was really a ball.
You know, and to think that these episodes would live on forever and ever and ever.
On the YouTube channel, right? On your Instagram feed.
On the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, it's going to go on. 100 years from now, they're going to say, John Melendrez? Who is that guy? Who cares?
He's the guy with all of those awards on that shelf back there behind you. I'm seeing all these awards.
Oh, yes. Those are my dance trophies.
Well earned, I'm sure. I know. I've danced with you before. I know what you're capable of.
Well, it's another great episode, Naran. Thanks for joining in and making it sparkle. I appreciate that. Thank you.
My pleasure. Jeff, thank you so much. We really enjoyed having you. Look forward, hopefully, to being able to do this again. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, John.
Be safe. Wear a mask.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. I am John Melendrez. I am a wedding dance choreographer, 3-time winner of Best of the Knot. Have a safe afternoon. Wear a mask, and please be considerate of other people. Have a great day.